Hey guys, this is AniMat, and let's talk about the Oscars. Okay, so here's a bit of a rundown of how this video is going to work. Since I am more of an animation kind of guy, this video will be dedicated a little bit more to the animation portion of the Oscars, like who got nominated and who won and stuff like that. So I'm mostly going to be focusing more on that, but I will also be talking about the other nominations that happened and also the show itself. And at the end of the video, I will give you a bonus commentary on what happened at the Annie Awards. So with that said, let's get things started. And the first thing that I want to mention is that I actually put in effort this year. I actually went and decided to check out everything that is animated that was also nominated at the Oscars. Both of every animated feature that was nominated and every animated short as well. And so pretty much to start things off, I'm going to go into Best Animated Short because that's what the Oscars likes to do, you know? Like they start off with the appetizers for Best Animated Short Film and then go immediately into Best Animated Feature. And so the big winner for Best Animated Short Film was, surprisingly enough, Feast. Now, honestly, I wasn't really expecting that. Now, keep in mind, I really do like Feast. It really was an interesting short film. But honestly, I didn't feel like it was as good as either Paperman or last year's Get a Horse. And that's mostly why I felt a little more surprised that Feast won, because, like, if Get a Horse didn't win last year, how did Feast win this year? I just find it really weird. Again, it's still really good, but not as good as the last two. If you would have asked me who would have won for Best Animated Short, I would have gone with The Dam Keeper. Because out of all the animated shorts, this one in particular, this is the most story-driven, and like this one is driven by emotions, and it really is like kind of a bittersweet, heartbreaking, yet very touching animated short. Like, it really is very powerful. So, like, I guess that would have been in second place. As for the others, like A Single Life, like, it was okay. It was pretty cute for what it is. It's just like a really short cartoon about how this minion-looking girl, she found a record and like she can travel through time with it. And then there was the bigger picture, which I thought it was really weird because, like, this is the most experimental of them all, because basically what it is that instead of like being drawn like frame by frame, this one was like life-size paintings, and like every frame is like like you just see a bit painted over, and then they're also interacting with live objects. So it's like part 2D, part 3D. It was kind of weird, I'll have to admit. Very experimental, yet very weird. And then there was Me and My Molten, which should have been the one that I should be rooting for, because this is made in Montreal. But the thing with Me and My Molten is that I really don't get it. It's like this weird slice of life short about these three little girls, and they live with modern architect parents in the 60s, and they want a bike, and that's it. Like, there's no real plot. It's like, I live with my three sisters, my parents are weird, I want a bike. I don't get it. Like, I honestly didn't get it. But honestly, one of my biggest disappointments with the Best Animated Short list is that Duet didn't get nominated. If you guys don't know, Duet is this animated short created by legendary Disney animator Glen. It was just gorgeous. This is pretty much the life story of a boy and a girl, and like you just see how they go through their lives from a baby to an adult, and it really was beautiful. And honestly, I kind of am disappointed that this one didn't get nominated. Like, I would have easily replaced Me and My Molten for Duet. Like, that one at least that one should have gotten at least some more attention. If you guys haven't seen Duet, I'll put in a link below to show you like to go see it. It's really worth it. My God, it's just beauty in animation. It truly is. But with that said and done, let's move on to the big one, which is Best Animated Feature. Now, I was prepared to watch this. It's like, you know, I was ready to hear the names and like the nominations and the big winner, and then it was Big Hero 6? What? Like, how? Like, I didn't get it. Like, you know, like, wow, I just had a big shock when I heard Big Hero 6. I mean, I didn't get it. Like, throughout this whole time, I was expecting How to Train Your Dragon 2. And, like, all the signs were, like, preparing for How to Train Your Dragon 2 to really get it. Because here's the thing. Like, it won the Golden Globe. It swept the Annies, which I'll get to later. But then the Oscars came in and, like, they gave it to Big Hero 6? What? Like, I don't get it. Like, it just came out of nowhere. Like, you see How to Train Your Dragon 2 get nominated for, you see How to Train Your Dragon 2, it got a good chunk of it, and then another good chunk was given to the Lego Movie, and then out of the blue, like, Big Hero 6 came in and get the Oscar? I just don't get it. Okay, don't get me wrong, guys. Don't get me wrong. I really do like Big Hero 6. It really is a great movie. There's no denying. But the one thing that I was shocked and pretty disappointed at is that Disney doesn't really need that Oscar. DreamWorks, on the other hand, they seriously need it, especially how they are now. Because as you guys know, DreamWorks is seriously not doing well. In recent times, they have been experiencing more and more box office flops, especially with last year with Mr. Peabody and Sherman and the Penguins of Madagascar. And just like not too long ago, they just shut down one of their divisions at PDI. And so like basically they really need this Oscar, you know, just for the support. They at least need that support in order to keep on going. Like, Disney didn't really need it, honestly. Like, that's the thing. I'm more disappointed that Big Hero 6 won, mostly because, like, DreamWorks really need it. And that's the thing. And as for the rest, of the nominations, well, okay, but one thing I will say, to be fair, like, Big Hero 6, I'm not saying, like, Big Hero 6 would be my last choice. It would honestly be... It would be tied for my second pick between this and Princess Kaguya. Which, for Princess Kaguya, I'll admit, it's not really the best Studio Ghibli film I've seen, but it's definitely one of the most unique. The fantasy elements is just fantastic. It truly captures, like, this is the most Japanese film I've ever seen. And not because, like, it's a total anime and stuff like that, but it really captures, like, the Japanese culture, the Japanese tradition, and, like, the Japanese storytelling. And it really, really is interesting. So, if you're really interested in Japanese history, Japanese culture, definitely go check out Princess Kaguya. As for the other nominations, like, The Box Trolls and Song of the Sea, I'm not really surprised that they are nominated. Like, The Box Trolls, I thought it was good, but not really great. As for Song of the Sea, honestly, I was expecting something amazing from it, but, honestly, it was really good, but not that great. Like, their last film, Secret of Kells, was much better. It's a bit like Secret of Kells, where they tell a bit of the story of, they tell a story with, Irish myths and Celtic folklore, but it's just that some of the characters are not really that likable, and that's what really hinders Song of the Sea. That's why, like, that's one of the biggest things why it's not really as powerful or impactful as Secret of Kells was. So that's the thing. Like, if I would have done any changes to Best Animated Feature, I would have probably changed, like, The Box Trolls to either The Book of Life or the Lego Movie. But honestly, just as it is, like, when I heard just these nominations for Best Animated Features, I wasn't disappointed. I was glad for all of them. Like, they really do deserve it. And speaking of the Lego Movie, this is something that I really want to talk about. Because, oh my god, when the nominees were announced, and the fact that the Lego Movie did not get nominated for Best Animated Feature, oh my god, did the internet exploded. Like, literally, like, everybody, like, it's not just, like, people were shocked. Like, I was as shocked as everyone else, but, like, people were outraged. They were, like, protesting, and they were pretty much saying, like, oh, like, they got snubbed and stuff like that. Even Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the directors of the movie, honestly, they didn't really take it well. Even, like, much later, like, when they won the BAFTA award, they pretty much said,
"Who cares? I don't care. I don't even care."
And yeah, that's pretty much the thing. Like, I understand what the Academy is going through when it comes to the nominations. Like, here's the thing. Like, what I'm kind of annoyed with is, like, people are reacting like the Lego Movie is one of the best animated films ever. Like, oh my god, it's so holy and stuff like that. No, it's not. Here's the thing. The Lego Movie is really, really good. There's no denying. But it's not really a great movie per se. One of the biggest flaws is that this is a movie that's driven by the humor and it's driven by the action scenes. And that really is a problem because, like, they're so focused on that, they forgot to do more important things like story development and character development, which really does kind of hinder the Lego Movie. And it's pretty much one of the reasons why it didn't really get nominated for Best Animated Feature, and I do kind of understand that. So, this is pretty much saying that, like, it's, like, I understand what it is, and plus the fact that, you know, like, they only have to do 5 categories, you know, like, I feel, like, I do feel for the Academy, because it's like when I do my top 10s, like, you can't fit everything that people want to see into it. Like, you only have a limited space, and you have to make some sacrifices. And that's the thing. The Lego Movie is one of those sacrifices. Like I said, like, and I know I said before, like, I would have replaced the Box Trolls with either the Book of Life or the Lego Movie. But, like, in my place, I would put a bit of the Book of Life a bit more into priority onto it. But other than that, yeah, like, my god, people, just calm down. And plus the fact that, like, it actually, for a good period of time, like, this whole outburst, like, it actually made me forget that it was nominated. It, like, the Lego Movie did get a nomination for Everything is Awesome. For some reason, people forget to do that. It's like, honestly, that, like, oh my god, that certain outburst, like, honestly, that was the time, like, when Lego Movie fans, like, kind of went dumb on that. Like, they forgot to, like, they pretty much act before they think, and, like, now they're accusing, like, the Academy for being snuffing it, and, like, they're making up stupid theories of how the Lego Movie is amazing and stuff like that, which is not, like, my god, like, calm down, guys. Like, like, honestly, and one more thing I want to say is, like, you know, with what I said about the criticism in the Lego Movie, honestly, I don't really see in, like, 3, 4, or even 5 years that it's gonna have as much impact as it did, like, when it was released. Like, this is the kind of movie, like, it's not gonna have as much impact when you see it the first time, honestly. Like, because, like, plus the fact that the jokes are really pop culture oriented, like, it does have a bit of a dated feeling, so, like, it's, like I said, the Lego Movie is a really good film, but it's not great. Like, if it were directed by someone else other than Phil Lord and Chris Miller, maybe it would have gotten a shot, to be Oscar nominated. Just saying. Okay, so, that's pretty much gonna be it with the, animation portion. As for the rest of the nominations, I gotta say, like, I've done a bit of my predictions, and I actually got a good chunk of them right. Yeah, all 5 of them. If you didn't get it, that means I suck at predicting at the Oscars. No, but, like, honestly, like, I really wasn't expecting a lot of things. Like, the big winner, of course, is Birdman. which ended up winning a lot of things, including best writing, best original writing? Yeah, best original screenplay. It won for best director, and it also won for best motion picture of the year. You know, honestly, there was that one instance when I wanted to vote for Birdman, and that would be for Michael Keaton's performance. But then it ended up going to Eddie Redmayne, which honestly I never expected, because like a couple of years ago, we were pretty much making fun of him for being a Muppet in Les Miserables, and now like this year, he's pretty much an Academy Award-winning actor for playing Stephen Hawking. That I did not expect. And yeah, and you know, if I could be very honest, other than the animated stuff, I haven't really seen a lot. I haven't seen like much of these films really. Like the only other Academy Award nominated films I've seen were pretty much like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Maleficent. And honestly, that's pretty much it. But I did have some interest in watching some of the other films that were nominated. First off, there was the Grand Budapest Hotel. I'm really interested in seeing that because, like, ever since I've been rewatching Fantastic Mr. Fox, I have grown an interest to Wes Anderson and his style. What also helped with that is that I've also been watching, what also helped was pretty much doing the research for Animation Look Back, so that really did help. And then another one I wanted to check out, what was it? I'm thinking, like, I'm interested to see Selma, because that one is a really powerful, that one really seems like a powerful film. Plus the fact, Glory, there's no denying, that really deserved the win. Like, that was a really powerful song, so maybe I'll check out Selma to see, like, how it is and stuff like that. And another one, I guess, like, I'll also check out Birdman, since it did win the Oscars. I'll think about checking it out, maybe, if I do remember it, because, well, that depends, because, like, I do kind of have a bad memory with this, so, eventually, maybe, we'll see. But other than that, for the show itself, I gotta say, my god, that was such an improvement from last year. If you guys recall, at last year's Oscars, it was nearly a disaster. As much as I do love Ellen DeGeneres, it's just, like, it pretty much sucked. Like, Ellen was pretty much awkward as a host. She barely did anything, and, like, all she did was just take a selfie and order a pizza. Like, that's not what you should do at the Oscars. That's something you should do when watching at the Oscars. No, when watching the Oscars, I mean. It's like, that was honestly really stupid, but holy crap, when Neil Patrick Harris came in, like, he just blew her out of the water. Like, he started off with this amazing, like, this really amazing opening number, which, it was just fantastic. Just by that number alone, like, he beat Ellen DeGeneres, like, out of the water. But sadly, things didn't go as extravagant as that opening number, because afterwards, like, it's pretty much him being the regular host and stuff like that. And, but honestly, with Neil Patrick Harris, I really do love him as the host. Like, he's pretty much risque, he's funny, and like I said, like, he's risque, like, he pushes the envelope, and, like, instead of just showing random clips of movies, and, like, it doesn't matter what they are, if they're good or bad, kind of like what they did last year, it was pretty much, like, he was pretty much dissing them. Like, he was pretty much giving a good slap to the face of films, on films like the recent Annie remake. He gave a slap at the Smurfs too, and I didn't hear it that much, but, like, I heard he also gave a slap at A Million Ways to Die in the West, because, like, I was just on Twitter and stuff like that, and the only thing I heard, it was like, I pooped on a hat, and I was like, wait, what? And, no, but yeah, like, I would love, like, sometime in the future, I would love to see Neil Patrick Harris come back as a host. He really was great. And, yeah, a definite improvement, than from last year. But I will say, the one big criticism that I do have with this Oscars is that, oh my god, they really did extend it. They really extended so long. Originally, this was supposed to be just a 3-hour show, but because of all the things that they had to do, they have to give it a 45-minute extension. And it really did feel long, honestly. There's not really much of a point, because, they had to do so much filler and stuff like that. All the, some of the songs, and, all the jokes with Neil Patrick Harris, and, honestly, I really didn't get the box. He was pretty much setting up, it was okay, I have a predictions of the box, and then pretty much it was revealed, what's gonna happen with the acceptance speeches and stuff like that. It was probably rigged or something like that. I didn't really get it. I was like, what? Well, honestly, I didn't really know what to say. I was like, what the fridge is that? Also, but one thing I will admit, there are a lot of great things that they did keep. I really did like the fact that, I really did like the Glory number, and I was really, really surprised about the Sound of Music number. It wasn't really that useful, they really could have just taken out, but it really was well executed. Especially, holy crap! What Lady Gaga did with it is just incredible! First off, I just gotta say, my god, did you see Lady Gaga during that number? She was dressed normally! She was wearing a regular dress! She looked normal! And wow, she has she really does have an incredible singing voice. It was just amazing. My only problem with it was just that she keeps, opening her arms and stuff like that, and you see, right over here, she has, this trumpet tattoo, and I just thought that it was, for what it, everything that it is, that it's regular, it's normal, it's calm, it's the Sound of Music, I just find it a little too random that, she has this trumpet, you see this random trumpet on her arm. You could have at least worn, a long sleeve shirt or something like that. Just cover up some of the tattoos. Other than that, oh, one more thing I want to mention about the Oscars. There is one other little disappointment that I had, and that is with Best Original Song. Now, I know Glory would have won, but the one thing I really wanted to see is another rematch between the Muppets and Rio. Now, as you may know, in 2014, there were two films that were sequels to a 2011 film, which we got Muppets Most Wanted and Rio 2. I would have loved to seen another battle for Best Original Song where it was nominated for Best how can I put, I would have loved to see, Muppets Most Wanted song, be nominated against, a Rio 2 song, Beautiful Creatures versus I Can Get You Anything You Want. And I was really disappointed that, but I was more disappointed that Muppets Most Wanted did not get a nomination for Best Original Song, because I really do love the soundtrack in there as much as the first the first 2011 Muppets film. It was, it really is fantastic, and I think that's one of my bigger disappointments, as much as Duet not being nominated. But anyway, so that's pretty much going to be it for my Oscars spiel. Now let's move on to the Annies, which I think every animation person watching this would pretty much agree that, this is the one that should happen. And, well, not should happen, I the more satisfying one. And in terms of animated features, Big Hero 6, not Big Hero 6, I mean, How to Train Your Dragon 2 was the big winner with 6 Annie Awards, including Best Animated Feature, hold on a sec, I just gotta check out, Best Animated Feature, Best Directing, Best Directing, Best Character Animation, let's see what else, there was also Best Directing, I just said, Best Music, and fudge nabbit, where else? There's also Best Storyboarding. Did I miss anything else? Oh yeah, and Best Editing. And at the same time, everyone else also got a nomination. All the other animated features did get an Annie Award or two. Big Hero 6 won for Best Animated Effects, which I highly agree on. The Lego Movie won for Best Writing, which, even though I did say that Phil Lord and Chris Miller wouldn't have been a great choice for directors. Like, at least they got a great concept. Like, they definitely, so yeah, I definitely do agree, like, that they're fantastic writers for this. Then there was also, what else? Oh yeah, The Book of Life won an award for Best Character Design. And also, there was The Box Trolls that end up winning 2 Annie Awards, because that was the one that got the most nominations in terms of animated features for Best Production Design and also for Best, what was it? Oh yeah, Best Voice Acting for Ben Kingsley's performance as Archibald Snatcher, which, oh my god, I highly agree upon, because The Box Trolls is definitely one of those films where the villain is probably better than the movie itself. And Archibald Snatcher really is an amazing, amazing villain. But other than that, like, I really am satisfied with the nominations that they got in there. And from what I haven't really seen the show, like, I was doing plenty of other things, but I will say that I've heard, like, from what I've seen on Twitter and, like, all that stuff, I heard it really went beautifully. I heard that, apparently, like, they didn't go with a central host. They didn't go, like, oh, like, the host will be Neil Patrick Harris or something like that. Like, they just moved along. They just, like, you know, like, just switch from person to person. And it really does sound like an interesting concept. And one of the funniest things that I've heard, and it really does make me smile, is that the major show stealers were apparently John Musker and Ron Clements. When they were presenting for some of the awards, which I really thought it was funny. I remember seeing John Musker and Ron Clements live during, like, not a convention, but, like, during an animation festival, and they really are fantastic. And, you know, it really does make me happy to know that. And, other than that, I will mention that the ASIFA, the animation organization that's also in charge of the Annies, they actually just put up the entire Annie Award show on their YouTube channel, so I will put another link down on that. So, with that said, so thank you very much for listening to me about the Oscars and the Annies. So, let's see what's gonna happen next year when, at this rate, with Disney trying to sweep away the Oscars and stuff like that, let's see how Inside Out will win. So, with that said, see you later, dudes!